Elwynn Forest, the lush woodland that is home to the noble humans of Stormwind. Originally known as the Forest of Elwynn during the First War, this now iconic zone was originally settled some centuries ago by the descendants of the Arathi bloodline of Stromgarde. The humans of Stormwind remained a small, isolated kingdom for much of its history, finding prosperity in its fertile lands. The population grew gradually, leading to the settling of new towns and villages. During the early years of its settlement, the once peaceful spiders of Elwynn were corrupted by a curse which fell upon the neighboring region of Duskwood, which lay across the Nazfarini River. The corruption twisted and mutated the native spiders into horrible monsters, which pushed the residents of Elwynn Forest to their limits to fight back. Although most of the monstrous arachnids were killed or pushed back in Duskwood, the occasional beast still lingers around the forests of Elwynn. Following a time of peace and prosperity, the lands of Stormwind would once again face great upheaval and conflict. This time on a scale the denizens could never have predicted. It was at this time, in the far reaches of the Eastern Kingdom, that a great portal opened in the vast swamplands of the south. The human kingdoms were soon overwhelmed by the seemingly endless waves of brutish orcs pouring forth with each passing day. In the ensuing conflict, Goldshire, Northshire Abbey, and eventually Stormwind itself fell to the orcish invaders, with the noble king of Stormwind, King Lane, falling during the conflict. Despite their defeat during the First War, the humans of Stormwind survived, aided by their brethren, the human kingdom of Lordaeron, eventually rebuilding their glorious city with the aid of the Masons Guild. The young king Varian Wrynn, his wife Tiffin, and their infant son Anduin returned to their rightful lands. It was during this time that the machinations of the Lady Katrana Prestor began to lead the nobles of Stormwind astray, convincing them that the reconstruction of the city had been done poorly, and that the work didn't merit pay. The Masons Guild, led by Edwin Van Cleef, were denied their fair payment, despite their years of hard work and dedication to the kingdom. Their families left destitute by the unsympathetic elite of Stormwind. Protests broke out across the kingdom, culminating in a large gathering outside the castle walls. Gathering out to speak to the people, King Varian and Queen Tiffin walked out onto a rampart, the queen holding her infant son in her arms. As the king spoke, an unknown member of the crowd heaved a stone, throwing it up towards the rampart. The stone struck the queen in the head, killing her. From that moment on, the Masons Guild was no more. Now seen as villains in the eyes of the Loyalists, they took to hiding and went under the name of the Defias Brotherhood, led by Edwin Van Cleef himself. Much has changed since that time in the wooded realm of Elwynn Forest. The Defias Brotherhood's grip on the forest has been lessened. However, they still remain in various dark corners of the zone, looking for an opportunity to take what revenge they can upon the people who took so much from them. The crown has been passed down from King Varian to his now adult son, Anduin Wrynn. However, in Anduin Wrynn's absence, the kingdom has fallen into the hands of the renowned hero and champion of the light, Turalyon, who sits upon the throne as the steward of Stormwind until the rightful king returns. Northshire Abbey. Nestled in the hills of northern Elwynn Forest, this site of great importance to the people of Stormwind is maintained by a religious order of clerics known as the Brotherhood of Northshire. This site has seen more than its fair share of conflict. During the First War, the clerics of Northshire joined the war to fight the Orcish invaders. It was during this conflict that the famed Garona Half-Orcan, who would later go on to kill King Lane, was captured and held prisoner within the abbey. Eventually, with the fall of Elwynn Forest to the Orcish hordes, Garona would be retaken and Northshire Abbey would become a desecrated place. During the Second War, this once holy site had become the headquarters of Cho'Gall, the twisted, two-headed ogre and his clan, the Twilight's Hammer. Following the defeat of the Orcish horde during the Second War, the humans of Stormwind retook Northshire Abbey and made it once more a place where the holy light is revered above all. The struggles of the Brotherhood of Northshire, however, did not end there. Following the rise of the Defias Brotherhood, the lands of Northshire came under attack again, this time by the former denizens of Stormwind itself. Through coordinated efforts, the forces of Stormwind and the Brotherhood of Northshire were able to push the Defias Brotherhood out, but the victory wasn't long-lived. As from the nearby peaks of the Blackrock Mountains, the Blackrock clan of orcs descended, burning the fields and attacking the beleaguered people of Northshire. The conflict continues to this day. Goldshire. Located in the central lands of Elwynn Forest, Goldshire acts as a hub of trade for all the lands of Stormwind, as it sits at the crossroads between the city of Stormwind itself, Westfall to the west, Red Ridge to the east, and Duskwood to the south. The town of Goldshire is surrounded by natural beauty and natural resources. To the east, the tranquil surface of the Crystal Lake hides vicious murlocs, lurking just below the peaceful waters. Further to the east lies the Jasper Lode Mines, still ore-rich. It has been overrun by kobolds. To the west lies the Westbrook Garrison, a barracks built to stand guard against the Knoll invaders, who pose a constant threat to the denizens of Elwynn Forest. Moving south, you'll find a number of farms: the Stonefield Farms, McClure Vineyards, and Brackwell Pumpkin Patch. Nestled between the farms, the Fargo Deep Mine burrows deep below the land, filled with kobolds. The people steer clear to avoid the dangers posed by the invaders. Eastvale Logging Camp. On the eastern edge of Elwynn Forest, Eastvale Logging Camp sits at the entrance to the Red Ridge Mountains. The camp is home to many workers and veteran soldiers and guardsmen of the Stormwind Army, who, looking for a more peaceful life, still find themselves living in conflict. To the north lies Stone Cairn Lake, a vast lake with a large island at its center. The island hosts a large monument built in the memory of those many lives lost during the First War. The island has since been overrun by a group of rogue wizards who use the site for preparing their spells and rituals. The waters of the lake also pose a great danger, as they are infested with murlocs. These vile creatures have been confirmed to kill many unwary travelers as they unknowingly enter murloc territory. The ever-present danger of bears and wolves lurks behind every tree as well. Living on the frontier of the forest has its freedom, but it also poses many dangers that the people of the more developed regions of Elwynn can't imagine. From Westbrook Garrison to Eastvale Logging Camp, Elwynn Forest is a lush and beautiful region with a variety of places to go and people to meet. Though, don't be fooled, beneath the bright, welcoming appearance lies dark forces, monsters, and cruel brigands. Sometimes, however, it's good to forget all that. Head to the Lion's Pride Inn, grab a tall mug of ale, and get a good night's rest.
NANI?! No! God!
Run.
Oh, hell no!